You wouldn't think it'd be that big a deal.
I have cough drop.
Yeah, let me have one. I said we blame the city manager. Might as well.
Don't have that 2 minutes of water.
Cheapskate.
What?
You told no
me you were-
conference call.
Well, I'll take one of them.
Machine here.
Thank you.
Want enough?
Yes, well, how many do you have left? Okay, I'll take two. Thank you. You want the sign sheet?
I let the mayor know this sign business.
All right, we're up at, are you guys all ready?
We're ready, Mayor.
Eager.
Okay. Time to call to order the regular or the emergency meeting of the McAlester City Council, Tuesday, March 25th. Cora, would you call, we do have, I believe we have a quorum, but Cora, could you call the roll to ensure that?
Councilman Smith,
Here.
Stevens,
Here.
Cox,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Harrison,
Here.
Pritchard,
Here.
Mayor.
Here. Councilwoman Harrison, would you lead us in an invocation and pledge, please?
Yes, let us please stand. All right, ready? Set, we'll pledge first. I
Pledge
pledge.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll pray now. Our Heavenly Father, we come to you in the precious name of Jesus. Father, thanking you once again for this time to assemble. Father, we ask for supernatural and divine wisdom, knowledge, and understanding for the decisions that are to be made over the city of McAlester. We ask you to bless each one that's assembled and those that aren't. Father, please remember the businesses. Please remember our city, county, state, our country, and Father, internationally, the things that are going on. Father, we thank you that we could stand on your word and your promises, Father, that we'll have to walk in fear, but we'll just trust and believe in Psalms 91. And Father, we'll be mindful to give you the praise and to give you the glory in the holy, precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
We may be seated.
I do not have access to the sign-up sheet for the citizens' comments. Do we have any?
Mayor, we have Cody Knight that signed up, and he's not going to be talking on a specific item. We also have Alyssa Lottie and Jason Fazio who wish to speak on item number 10.
Okay. In that case, go ahead and let Cody come up and speak.
Speaking in the microphone.
All right, Cody Knight.
Name and address.
Cody Knight, 3853 North Pine Hollow Road, McAlester, Oklahoma.
Mr. Knight, we're not going to ask you any questions tonight, but if you wanted to fill us in kind of a little bit about what Walmart is doing, I imagine that's why you're here tonight.
That is.
Protecting our community.
You bet. Well, one of the corporate responses, again, not even a 151, which is our store number response, is the corporate has changed the operating hours, and changing that operating hours allows us to do what we could call a considerable deep cleaning and reassigning those associates with that would be a CSM, which is a manager on the front end for overnights. And those cashiers that would be operating the registers, they're assigned to cleaning tasks within inside the store. Also, we have closed the ACC, which is known as automotive. We have moved those associates inside the store to help with other tasks, not only with replenishment of goods on the side counters of grocery and paper goods and throughout the store, but also for cleaning tasks as well, for sanitation purposes. If you have shopped lately here at Walmart, I think you would notice that each cashier is sanitizing their area as they are working in between customers or in between those transactions of not having a customer as well. And I'll tell you, I mean, we're hiring. This is a time for us to be able to hire, and with those hiring, just hired another maintenance person this day before yesterday. And again, with her new task is that she is going to be maintaining a certain piece of the store. And in maintaining that certain piece of the store, again, it is through sanitizing. Anything that someone would lean against, hold against, touch is going to be her first priorities of what she would take care of. You know, I've kind of sent a list in of the things that we have done at Walmart, you know, outside of that in changing. I will tell you there's more to come. I mean, each and every day I'm on a call, if not on two, of something that we're going to ramp this up just a little bit more, from adding sprayers to be able to start spraying things. The latest one was we took our hosts from the doors, which you would know them as the people that scan receipts, and we have assigned those to wiping down shopping carts. So every shopping cart before a customer ever grabs, it's not just the handle, but the exterior of the shopping cart is wiped down before it is ever presented out for someone to grab. This is, you know, that was a huge step with the company to be able to make that decision. But just recently, they have added a new spray technique that we're going to be doing. We have to have a little bit of kind of online training for it real quick before we release it, but it's another step in protecting our community. So I hope that answers most of those questions, but if not, I will be available for any questions that may need to be answered. Okay.
One quick question.
Yeah.
Social distancing at the checkout stands. Did you address that?
Well, that is, you know, something that we would have to probably revisit with our cashiers again, and reminding those that, you know, to remind the customer, you know, it's still really up to the public to know the basic things of washing your hands, you know, sanitizing, and then also keeping your distance. You know, our store is 220,000 square feet, so we have plenty of room that we can accommodate somebody to be able to use that shopping cart as a measuring tool for distance, or use the floor tile that we have, that which is, each one of them is 1 foot, to be able to say if they're at a safe distance from a customer. So.
Mr. Knight, how often do you get a truck in out here?
I get a truck every day, and depending on which truck, it's formulated for different times of the day for unloading. Obviously, every Walmart in the nation is going through the same thing that we are, or most retailers or grocers are going through the same thing that we are. And with that, those trucks show up a little bit later than they have in the past. But typically, our grocery truck has been on schedule with being around there at 1 o'clock, and we've been able to go through and restock grocery at 1 p.m.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I should have gone through you a minute ago. Can I ask him another question? Can I ask him? Okay. Thank you.
It is an item, so we're really not supposed to be
Okay.
guessing.
I'll talk to you. Okay, it's not on the agenda, so that's why.
You bet.
Okay.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All
man.
right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Knight.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. We will move to the consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If it is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separate. Tonight, the agenda consists of A, approval of the minutes from February 25th, 2020 regular meeting of the City Council. Approval of claims for March 4th, 2020 through March 17th, 2020. C, consider an act upon application of the actions taken on agenda items 1, 2, and 3 presented to the presented at the emergency city council meeting held March 17th. D, consider and act upon authorizing the mayor to sign the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund authorized agent notification form. And E, concur with the mayor's reappointment of Brent Grillo to the McAlester Regional Hospital Board for a new term to expire March 31st, 2026. Would anyone like anything removed? Hearing no one, I would take a motion to affect the
I'll make
consent
a
agenda.
motion. Second.
I didn't get I didn't hear who made the motion. Did you get it, Cora?
Weldon, I made the motion.
Okay.
Steve seconded.
Any further discussion? Cora, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, and the motion carries. What I would like to do next is I'm going to change the order of the agenda a little bit, and I would like to make a motion that we postpone any action or discussion on items 1 through 4. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
I would, this Councilman Pritchard, well, never mind. No discussion for me.
Anyone?
To be clear, that's postponing it indefinitely, correct? Did I hear that correctly?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So, any other comments or questions? Cora, would you call the roll, please?
Sir, who seconded?
Did you second it? Oh,
Councilman Stevens.
oh, Steve.
Vice Mayor Stevens,
Yes.
Councilman Cox,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, and the motion carries. So we'll move to agenda item number 5, which is consider and act upon a use permit review in the medical overlay district for the use of property at 804 East Monroe.
Mayor, I'll take that item if you're okay with that.
Yes, if you would.
Okay. Mayor, members of the council, tonight we are presenting to you an application from Janelle Brooks, who lives at 804 East Monroe Avenue. Ms. Brooks has asked for a use permit after review. This item was heard by the Planning and Zoning Commission on March 17, 2020. All the proper documentation was in place. Planning and Zoning voted at that meeting to forward this on to consideration to the council with a 7-0 vote. This medical overlay district actually fits within our comprehensive plan and is identified in our comprehensive plan as a medical overlay district, and staff recommends approval of the use permit after review for Janelle Brooks's prosthetic, or specifically hair prosthetic facility.
I make a motion
Are
to
there
approve that.
Any questions, comments?
I'll second it.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments?
Oh, I
Cora, would
have
you call
one.
the roll, please?
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Brown,
Hold on.
You got a comment?
No, I was just going to say I appreciate her being a participant in this overlay. That's all. Thank you.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harrison.
Cox,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Oh, yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, and the motion carries. Okay, before we move on to item number 6, I am going back to the public hearing section of the agenda, because we have to do the public hearing before we take any action. So, public hearing, all persons interested in any ordinance listed in scheduled business shall have an opportunity to be heard in accordance with Article 2, Section 12B of the city charter. Tonight, the public hearing will be an ordinance of the city of McAlester, Oklahoma, amending ordinance number 2656, which establishes the budget for fiscal year 2019-2020, repealing all conflicting ordinances and providing for an emergency. I need a motion and a second to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Councilman Pritchard makes a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? Or would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Pritchard,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, so we are now in a public hearing. If anyone would like to address this, please step to the podium. So you guys will have to tell me if anybody comes up.
Mayor, we have nobody stepping forward.
In that case, I would take a motion in a second to close the public hearing.
This is Councilman Cox. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Cora, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Cox,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, and the motion carries. So we will now move to agenda item number 6. Consider and act upon an ordinance amending ordinance number 2656, which established the budget for fiscal year 2019-2020, repealing all conflicting ordinances, providing for a severability clause, and declaring an emergency. Mr. Stasiak, can you take this one?
Yes, Mayor, I have this. This is Budget Amendment Exhibit A1. This is taking money from our Workman's Comp Fund, savings from that Workman's Comp Fund, and utilizing those monies for our safety incentive for the past 2 quarters. This is a movement of $74,085 into the safety incentive.
Are there any questions or comments? I take a motion in a second to approve.
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Is there a second?
This is Councilman Cox. I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Corey, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Brown,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, and the motion carried. We're on to agenda item number 7. Consider.
Mr. Mayor, the ordinance has an emergency clause.
I need a motion in a second on the emergency clause.
I'll make it, Mayor. JB, Councilman Brown.
Just because you called yourself JB, I'll second that.
Okay.
Is there any discussion? Corey, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Brown,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, and the motion carries. Now we're on to agenda item number 7. Consider an act upon rescinding the April 7th, 2020 general election date previously set in resolution number 19-24 and rescheduling it to Tuesday, June 30th, 2020. Mr. Stasiak, this or Ms. Middleton?
Go ahead, Corey. Speak into that.
The state election board declared an election emergency after COVID-19 was declared an emergency nationwide, statewide, and through the county also. And they're moving all April 7 council elections of any type to June 30th, and in hopes that they will be able to, this will all be under control by then, and we'll be able to have the elections. And since we do not physically take care of our elections, we need to follow suit with their recommendation.
Okay, Okay, so basically all we need to do is formalize it as far as the city is concerned.
Correct.
Are there any questions or comments?
This, is it okay to, this is Councilwoman Harrison, and I'm directly, I guess you'd say, impacted by this as well as Councilman Ward 1. And I've got a quick question. Of course, it's coming from the state, but is this going to cost the city anything to have this election postponed or put to a different date?
No, it won't.
It won't. All right. Thank you. Question answered.
Any other questions or comments?
Mayor, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Ms. Middleton, did you say, well, let me ask you, can we legally hold our own elections?
We can, but after speaking with the election board secretary, we would have to furnish people to work the poll. We would have to open up our own building, and then the total cost of that would be on us.
Okay. The second question, are the precincts in here, are these the correct precincts that overlay with the new ward boundaries?
Yes, they are.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I take a motion and a second to approve.
This is Weldon. I'll make a motion to approve this.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Corey, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, and the motion carries. We are now on to agenda item number 8. Consider and act upon a resolution declaring an emergency in the city of McAlester related to COVID-19 pandemic. What this is putting in resolution form the proclamation that was made declaring the emergency. Do you have anything to add to that, Mr. Stasiak or Mr. Irvin?
Mayor, this is Pete. This is just formalizing that order from last week.
Are there any questions or comments? Take a motion and a second to approve.
Second. Made a motion. I'll make the motion.
Councilman Brown made a motion.
Was there a second?
Second. This is Weldon.
So we have a motion and a second. Did I hear a second?
Yes.
Councilman Smith, second.
Okay. I guess, is there any further discussion? Cora, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Brown,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, motion carries. I'm going to skip item number 9 for now and go directly to item number 10. And that is consider an act upon extension of the order proclaiming existence of a civil emergency in the city of McAlester. What this is, we had extended the previous one until 8 o'clock last night. We can now take this and modify it, end it, carry it on. I have a couple things that I would like to add to it. One is blood drives, including those by First Red Cross and the Bloodmobile, or any other do those as a way to get blood donations, and so to include funeral homes in the places that can continue to operate if under this closure. I believe Mr. Stasiak, you had some things that you had some suggestions on.
I do, Mayor. I'm trying to find my notes.
Yeah, that's me. I've got my stand-up computer and 3 others around me. do know it was including barbers, hair salons, tattoo parlors.
Mayor, I'm going to excuse myself and go upstairs for a second.
Okay.
Take a recess.
We have two individuals that like to speak on this. If you'd like.
Yes, go ahead and have them.
Okay, the first one that signed up was Alyssa Lottie. She wanted to speak on this agenda item, and I'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Alyssa Laddie with McAlester Main Street. I know I spoke on Monday's emergency meeting about the opportunities that a couple of groups and organizations in McAlester could help with businesses that are seem to be feeling like they're failing. There are so many opportunities for these businesses. I have partnered up with the BDC and the McAlester Chamber of Commerce. We are pulling all of our state resources in to help these business owners. We welcome them to reach out to us on social media. Crystal is in the comments right now on this live stream posting all of our contact information. We want to brainstorm with these businesses and help them posture themselves to get some sustainability through this situation and also come out with a win when all this is over for our community. So I really, really encourage business owners that are struggling right now to please reach out to us. We want to see you guys win, and we'll do whatever we can to help you guys. So that's all I have.
Mayor, I have a question. Alyssa, I have a question.
Sure.
So if they need, Mayor, is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So what are the procedures if they need to get a loan, like whatever, through you or you're helping them? They come to you. Just kind of explain the steps.
Okay.
If you don't.
So currently, all the loans are being processed actually through the SBA on a national level. But we do have local resources here that are helping expedite that process. We have small businesses all over the United States that are trying to process loans through the SBA website. And it's very, very hard to navigate right now because it's just so much traffic on one website. So if you do want to apply for that, the SBA's website, the best time to navigate that is to avoid the peak hours, and that's 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So for instance, last night I was helping businesses process loans at 2 o'clock in the morning. And it's just kind of what we have to do right now. But there is another process through the Small Business Development Center with Henry Lear, and he can actually do paper applications and do it that way. And that might seem like a slower process to a lot of people, but in all actuality, there's no telling how long that website is going to be slowed down because we do have a whole nation full of users trying to utilize that service.
So now if they get the loan, is this something that they'll be forgiven because of all this, or is that it's just like a regular bank loan and after you got so many years to pay it back? Or
Well, I'm not going to comment on the terms of it because I'm not supplying the loan,
Okay.
but I do know that they are low interest rates. There's an even smaller interest rate for nonprofit organizations. We do have a couple of those in our community that are looking into this process. I haven't heard from a national level if, there's a lot of rumors going on about everything in the situation that we're in. There's people saying, if you keep your employees on this will be forgiven. I do not know that information, so I don't want to put that out there. But I encourage everybody that is struggling to at least go and apply for this. And so whenever it comes down to making a decision to accept that for your business, we can help posture you in the right direction for success through this situation.
all right, thank you, ma'am.
Oh, this is Councilwoman Harrison. You said we could ask Ms. Laddie a couple of questions?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
Could you provide a phone number over now, or do we have to wait till later? Phone number to reach you? Or?
Absolutely. So Crystal from the chamber, she's also posting our contact information in the comments of the live feed here that's going on right now. I can be directly contacted on my cell phone number at 918-916-9862.
Okay.
And I currently also have my office number forwarded to my cell phone, and that is 918-423-8888. And I am not exactly, I don't have crystals memorized off the top of my head, but they will be in the comments right now. So.
Oh, okay. And secondly, is the Choctaw Mayor, do I need to go back through you? This is Councilwoman Harrison. All right. The Choctaw Nation Small Business Administration, are they participating in this too? Or is this strictly Main Street that's helping at this time?
So we've there's nothing formally set down. We're basically just pulling all of our resources together through the chamber, through Main Street, through Small Business Development Center, and we are listening to businesses and figuring out exactly what their needs are and what they're applicable for, and then we are sending them out to our resources that we get passed down from us on state levels. So if there is a business that would qualify for that, we would definitely send them to that entity for that process.
All right, thank you.
Councilman Brown, just give you a little bit of information on the question that you had asked. There was a bill that has been passed in the Senate. It hasn't been voted on in the House yet, so it's not set in stone. But there will be small business loans available for certain businesses to get that. They can be used to make payroll and to keep people working. And as the Senate bill is, it would allow forgiveness of that those loans.
Would not, or okay.
It
would.
It would.
Okay. Okay. Thank you,
Of
Mayor.
course, you remember it's only halfway there because it's only through the Senate. Now it's still got through the House.
That's
Things
now.
could change, but it's looking promising, I guess is what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Can I make a comment towards that?
Oh, sure.
Is Mr. Fazio ready?
Well, hey, Alyssa had another question, Mayor.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't.
Go ahead.
The information that the mayor just announced, as soon as we get validated info and we have a process set up for that to do press releases and all that, we will definitely be working with the Department of Commerce to let everybody know in our
Did you hear
community.
that, Mayor?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Appreciate the job.
Mayor, I'm going to call Mr. Fazio in. Is that okay?
Yes. Yeah. I thought he was. I thought I did already. So go ahead. Yeah.
I missed it.
Thank you.
Hello, Jason Fazio, 88 High Point Street. I own Fazio's Fitness. I sent an email to the mayor, to Councilman Cox, Councilman Smith, and I think Councilman Pritchard and Stevens about what I plan to do. If you guys will see fit to let me remain open, I'd like to reiterate that we are a members-only club. A very small percentage of the local citizens frequent our facility. We initially asked for a 10 and 10 policy because due to the size of our facility. It's about 7,000 square feet, 10 on the east side, 10 on the west side. But we would be willing to comply with whatever you guys ask of us or what the governor asks of us, for that matter. We are planning to revise our hours. We're a 24-hour facility. We would be cutting that back to maybe a 10 or 12-hour day. Still thinking it all through. I'm thinking 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We'll be closed on the weekends. Currently, how we operate, since we're open 24 hours, we don't have staff there 24 hours a day. So we don't have people there in the middle of the night. So obviously, under these circumstances, you would need somebody there to oversee that all these things are being taken care of. We will request that all members sign in, sanitize their hands. We'll be checking temperatures with a temporal thermometer. We'll be asking members if they are feeling healthy and well, if they've been out of the state, out of the country recently, or if they've come into contact with anyone known to have this virus. Before we open up every day, we will be deep cleaning and sanitizing the entire gym, all of our equipment. we will. I'm right now. I'm looking at doing a first come first serve kind of thing, but we're looking at booking appointments to come into the gym in hour blocks. So to limit the number of people in, basically what they'll have to do is tag in and out, whatever the maximum number is. The 11th person or whatever it may be cannot come in until a member leaves. Let's see if I have anything else that I sent the councilman here. During all revised operating hours, the gym will be staffed to ensure these measures are being undertaken. And also periodically throughout the day, we will be cleaning the gym ourselves. We will stay on top of the members to make sure that they are cleaning and disinfecting any of the equipment that they may happen to use. But periodically throughout the day, we will also be doubling down on that to take care of those things as well. So I think that just about covers it. Appreciate your time.
Mayor?
Yes, Councilman Brown.
Thank you, sir. So you're saying, supposedly, that 10 members, so you got to keep it at 10. So if this was, the city lets you stay open, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That you'll be responsible up to the 10 and then.
Yeah. I'll take 15 or 20 if you let me.
I don't know. Well, I'm trying to figure out what to do here.
But we will comply with whatever you guys ask of us if you see fit to let us remain open.
Okay.
This is Councilwoman Harrison. Is it okay to ask Mr. Fazio a couple of questions or suggestions?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. Mr. Fazio, I know you're in Ward 5, which is the ward in which I'm over. And I had a few ideas. I know some of them you weren't able to do because of stationary equipment, but these are a few things that maybe need to be considered real soon. We talked about rental of your equipment, and you said everything was stationary. And we talked about possibly getting some items that weren't stationary and renting those out. Have you given any more consideration to that?
I just don't see how that would be possible.
Oh, okay.
It would probably cause a really big headache for me, to be honest.
Oh, okay. And then possibly one-on-one lessons to keep, make sure everything is sanitized and stay within this CDC rules and regulations. Has that been considered? And also possibly a virtual class, something that you could do online, but you said that your members didn't have
but most
the equipment.
Yeah, most of the people that come in, they would not have the necessary equipment to do those things at home.
Oh, okay. All right.
And as far as the one-on-one thing is concerned, that would be difficult to do. If we could have 10 people in the facility at a time, we don't have the staff to keep up with that. Mm-hmm. And plus, if you were suggesting having one person in the gym at a time,
by appointment.
By appointment, we couldn't accommodate the amount of members that we have. If we did 10 at a time, let's say we're open 12 hours a day, that's 120 members. That's at least a portion of the members that we have. And, not all of them come in 5 days a week, but some of them do, and they would be able to gain access and do their thing if we could have 10 at a time at least.
Okay. Well, I have lastly, is it okay, again, Mayor, to ask Mr. Fazio this?
Yes.
All right. Have you given consideration to maybe increasing your membership? I know it's exclusive right now, but maybe possibly opening it up lesser amount on the fee, but you would have more people. Later on when all this crisis is resolved, you would have more people. Possibly.
Until this blows over, we aren't going to be taking any new members.
Okay.
We're going to try to cap it at what we're at, just in the interest of public safety and all that stuff. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Much success.
Thank you.
Mr. Fazio?
Yes.
I've got a couple questions. First of all, would you be willing to do it by appointment? Because you're going to have to be limited. You're going to have to limit it to 10 because of the governor's order yesterday that there's no more than 10 gathering. But if you could do it by appointment, so that in between the appointments you can sanitize. So have a set amount between. If you have people come in at 9 to 9:45, you got 15 minutes to sanitize.
Right.
10 to 10:45.
Right. Yes, if you guys felt more comfortable with us doing it that way, we would absolutely do that.
Yeah, I would. The other thing is you would have someone on staff there at all times that it was open.
Yes.
And just ballpark, because I've been this. The reason why I'm considering and supporting this is I've been contacted by a number of people who are veterans and PTSD veterans.
Yes.
That this is extremely important to them to be able to use. Do you have just a kind of a ballpark idea of how many of your members would be like that, or how many would be using it?
Of how many members that have PTSD?
Or veterans in general?
I couldn't give you an exact number. Based on the conversations I've had with some of our members, I can say that we do have quite a few that were military veterans or combat veterans.
Okay. Thank you. Does anyone else? Anyone else got questions?
Do we need to make a motion on this?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to speak. This is Joe Irvin.
Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Okay. First, I'd like to remind the council that, we have equal protection issues with allowing a single business to stay open. With all due respect to what Mr. Fazio is willing to do or able to do, we have other businesses that are in that same type of business, and we have equal protection issues if you allow one business to open and don't allow others of similar type to open. The other thing is that, we've got a lot of other businesses that, work one-on-one with people, hair salons and things like that are going to be able to raise those equal protection issues as well. And so, obviously it's within the police powers of the city in a time like this to restrict those businesses and to close them if there's not a way to safely conduct the business, citywide, not just a single business. But I wanted to make the council mindful of an equal protection issue that we will face if a certain business is granted an ability to work when others aren't.
Mayor,
Yes.
this is Will.
But we could, if we did it for gyms and not Tazio Gym specifically, if we made all of the gyms operate under those rules, we would be within the law, correct?
I'm saying that there may be other businesses other than gyms that are going to claim that they have not received equal protection under the law. At a minimum, you'd have to do it for all gyms, but there are other businesses that are also able to make that claim.
Okay.
Mayor, this is Weldon. I have a question for Joe.
Go ahead, sir.
Isn't it possible for us to identify groups of businesses that can meet these kind of standards of hygiene? And for example, we've already said, there was another lady that was here last time from another gym, and I'm sure maybe there's another gym, I don't know, but can't we also look at a general identification of businesses that are able to sanitize and ensure they have less than 10 people on site at any time and allow those to continue to be in business?
Well, that's within the council's province, absolutely. There's a question of enforcement. There is a question of whether it defeats the purpose of locking down the other businesses. If we're going to allow people to, potentially spread the disease in a certain type of business, kind of defeats the purpose of locking down other businesses.
But in fact, we haven't locked down some of the major businesses. Lowe's is going full blast. Walmart's going full blast. Grocery stores are going fine. And nobody's looking at them or their enforcement of social distancing or whatever. And I know there'd be a riot if we closed down grocery stores, but the point is...
I'm saying grocery stores, gas stations,
right,
and people who fall under those essential services, aren't traditionally shut down in emergency situations. Our police powers we're able to interfere with people's constitutional rights of free assembly and those kind of things, as long as we're using the least intrusive method to accomplish those public interests.
Well, there's another area that I'm interested in. Water's essential, food's essential. In America, cars are essential. So I've been contacted by some dealers that are interested in keeping Dart manufacturers dealerships open for parts and service. And also, if somebody has a car that won't run anymore, they could buy a new car. So that's essential also. It gets kind of fuzzy on what's essential.
It usually falls into the category of basic necessities.
In Oklahoma, a car is a basic necessity. And for people with PTSD, maybe a gymnasium is a basic necessity.
I'm biased, but we consider exercise a necessity.
Although a gymnasium is not the sole form of meeting your basic necessity for physical health, and in this time of a pandemic, it may actually be adverse because of the nature of shared space.
Mayor, this is Councilman Cox. I have a question for Joe.
Go ahead.
Joe, isn't there CDC guidance or federal guidance that outlines what essential businesses are?
They are.
That is correct. There is some room for local interpretation in that. If you only have one provider for a service, then maybe that's an essential service. But there's guidance on it. And gyms are closed around the country. It's not just in the state of Oklahoma or in the city of McAlester. Those are entities that have been determined to be non-essential entities in other cities.
This is Councilwoman Harrison.
Go ahead.
I've got a quick question. Is there any way that these people that are over physical fitness that can possibly contract with hospitals and medical facilities? Because if the need is that great for, a traumatic syndrome in which the veterans are having, perhaps they can consider contracting with some of those type of medical facilities and offer their services there. Is that anything that anybody's thought about? Okay, all right. I was told the hospital.
I'm not sure who you asked that question, but I don't think hospitals would be able to handle it at this point. With everything going on.
So
our hospital, this is Joe again. Our hospital administers the wellness center. It's been closed for some time now. The Choctaw's closed the Choctaw Wellness Center, and so I think there is a nexus between physical exercise and health, but I'm living proof that you can be out of a gym for 15 years and still survive.
Okay, I was just wondering.
That's great.
This is Councilwoman Harrison again. Quick thing. So based upon what we're told here, the federal CDC and other governing bodies are saying that gymnasiums and wellness centers at this point are considered non-essential places of business. Is this what's being said?
Almost every place that has closed businesses have closed gymnasiums. I'm not aware of any jurisdiction in the United States where they've determined gymnasiums to be essential businesses or essential services.
Okay, was that City Attorney Mr. Irvin?
Sorry, you're right, Councilwoman Harrison. I should have identified myself. This is Joe Irvin.
Oh, all right, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Mayor,
Mayor, this is good.
Go
I
ahead.
got two. I'm not sure who it was.
Councilman Pritchard.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
I don't like saying this, but I think the truth of the matter is that we're only, at some point in the near future, we're going to have a confirmed case in Pittsburgh County. I think that's going to happen in likely to happen in every county in the state of Oklahoma within the next days or potentially weeks. I think it might be prudent at this point for us to, I don't know how to do this, but to adopt the same executive order that the governor issued for the 19, I think it's 19 counties that do have a confirmed case. I mean, that's going to be painful for numerous people. But I think the sooner that we as a region, we as a state, get, even more serious than we already are. And I know that there's been lots of loss of business and disruption to people's lives, but I think the sooner we get more serious about it, the sooner we have an opportunity to reset things and begin a new normal that is hopefully a lot safer for everybody out there. So I don't know how we would accomplish adopting the same thing that the governor has done for the other counties, but I think that is the most prudent course of action for this municipality.
I think what you would have to do is you would have to make a motion for the city of McAlester to adopt the governor's order for the 19 counties with existing cases.
Well, if that will work, I'll make that motion right now that we adopt as our civil emergency declaration the same declaration the governor made for the counties with existing confirmed cases of COVID-19.
Is there a second?
It pains me to do it, but I will second it.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, this is Weldon. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
Go ahead.
I just want to make sure if we do this, that there's a set termination date on the order. And I don't want it to go on forever. I think we need to revisit this periodically. I think the obvious choice of a termination date would be our next council meeting on the 14th of April. So I would like to make sure that we put in there, we're going to terminate this order if we approve it on the 14th of April, our next council meeting. We can extend it at that time, or we can let it die.
I'd be happy to amend the motion to include a termination date of April the 14th.
Okay.
I'll second that, this Weldon.
If I may mention something to see if Councilman Pritchard might want to amend as well, or at least hear out. This is a lot of information at once. Would you be willing to let there be a kind of a sunset to where we postpone it, where it takes effect until maybe tomorrow or something like that, to give some people some time to adjust as well?
Yes, I would be. I mean, so I'm making another amendment to my motion, which is that this would become effective 5 p.m. on the 26th of March.
Mr. How do I need to proceed with the amendments to the motion, having had a second to the original motion? Are you there?
Sorry. Who made the motion for the original?
Councilman Pritchard made the original motion and offered 2 amendments, and Vice Mayor Stevens had seconded the original motion.
Well, if Councilman Pritchard wants to withdraw his initial motion, he can pursue his second motion, and Councilman Stevens can do as well with the second.
Yeah. Okay. Do you withdraw your original motion, Councilman Pritchard?
Yes, I do.
Vice Stevens, do you withdraw your second?
Yes, sir.
Councilman, would you like to make a new motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the city of McAlester, as our civil emergency proclamation, adopt the same proclamation made by the governor of the state of Oklahoma that covers the counties with confirmed cases of COVID-19 disease. That will become effective March 26th at 5 p.m. and continue until April 14th at 8 p.m. unless terminated sooner by the city council.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, now we're back to discussion.
Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
I was gonna ask now, does that still affect the gyms? I'm like, I don't know what, so, go ahead, Mr. Seaman.
I can read the actual press release if you'd like it read into the record.
Yes.
No, okay, well, maybe I need to refresh. I mean, I've looked at it a little bit like at 2:00 in the morning, but it's glancing. But, okay, so he cannot operate his gym still, right? Okay. All right, that was my main concern.
This is Councilwoman Harrison. I would like for city manager to read the original order, please. Thank you.
Go ahead. Stay there.
The amended executive order provides for the following statewide measures. Issues a statewide safer at home order for adults over the age of 65 and vulnerable individuals with serious underlying medical conditions. Limits gatherings to no more than 10 people. Prohibits visitation to nursing homes and long-term care facilities. Postpones all elective surgeries, minor medical procedures, and non-emergency dental procedures until April 7th, 2020. The amended executive order provides for the following measures in counties with community spread. It's my understanding we will be adopting this as if we have community spread in Pittsburgh County. It requires restaurants in Oklahoma counties with confirmed COVID-19 cases to provide takeout and delivery options only, and closes all bars in those counties. Closes all businesses not identified as being within a critical infrastructure sector, such as gyms, salons, massage parlors, and movie theaters, where counties have community spread effective March 25th, 11:59 p.m. through April the 15th. Federal guidance on the essential critical infrastructure workforce can be found at www.cisa.gov/publications/guidance-essential-critical-infrastructure-workforce. Additions may be added by executive order or memorandum. Mayor, if I could, I'd like to take 1 second to tell you just real quick about manpower in the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, which the governor addresses as CISA. Are you okay with that?
Yes, go ahead.
This agency executes the Secretary of Homeland Security's responsibilities as assigned under the Homeland Security Act of 2012. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but they identify essential critical infrastructure and workforce as healthcare, public health, law enforcement, public safety, first responders, food and agriculture, energy, electricity industry, petroleum workers, natural and propane gas workers, water and wastewater, transportation and logistics, public works, communications and information technology, and other community-based government operations and essential functions, along with critical manufacturing and hazardous materials, financial services, chemical, and defense industrial base. That's all I have, Mayor.
This is Councilwoman Harrison. I've got a quick question. City Manager, Mr. Stasiak, what you just read, was that the governor's amended order? Whose order was that?
This is the press release from March the 24th, 2020. Governor Stitt announces latest COVID-19 actions.
Oh, okay. Now, this is my question. Again, this is Councilwoman Harrison. It was just, a motion just went making our dates starting tomorrow evening through April the 12th, but the governor said through April the 15th. So should there be an adjustment on those dates?
No, we are adopting the entities that he is talking about. We're not adopting his date. We're putting our own date on it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Thank you.
Cora, would you call the roll, please?
Thank you.
Councilman Pritchard, Councilman Pritchard,
Yes, I'm sorry. I had you on mute.
Stevens,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, and the motion carries. We will now move back to agenda item number 9, which is presentation of monthly financial statement.
5 tomorrow.
He can operate fast.
Mr. Stasiak?
Yes, Mayor. I'm sorry, I was answering somebody in the audience.
All right. Well, whenever you're ready, we're on agenda item number 9.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. As you're intimately aware, for the last couple of months, the city of McAlester has been seeing a great decrease in our operating expenses in the form of sales tax revenue and also our water and sewer sales for the city. It's been on decline for quite a while. For the last 6 months or so, the energy industry, oil and gas, has been pulling out of the city of McAlester. And I can tell you that today that oil and gas industry is virtually gone. That industry put a lot of money into our community in the form of hotel motels, eating in our restaurants, shopping in our stores, and there was a large infusion of cash that came along with that. This was prior to the natural disaster that we are currently under with the pandemics. What I want to talk about briefly is our general fund at a glance. It is currently 3.8% under budget at 62.86%. Our expenditures, which we're monitoring very closely, are also under budget by 1.6%. We need to draw that closer, especially in light of what we're facing for the future. Our current revenues in the MPWA are right at 5% under budget, and our operating expenses are at 6.3% under budget. You have the financial update and the bar graphs in front of you. The second slide shows the 2% dedicated, which is quite a bit under budget for the month of March, for revenues received for March. The bright side is our use tax, which is budgeted at about $160,000 per month, actually came in at a little more than that, at about $175,000. So it was strong, but it is also a much smaller number. It's about 1/10 of what our sales tax numbers are. Our water sales continue to decline with the wet weather that we've been experiencing. The first 6 weeks of this year were some of the wettest 6 weeks that we've seen on record. Our water sales are down quite a bit, and along with that, our wholesale water sales are also in decline. The 5th page in your packet is the Treasury's report. We continue to keep the money that's required to cover all of our debt and obligations on hand, and we meet those requirements. What I want to talk to you about briefly now is what we are facing with the decline of the oil and gas industry and what we're seeing citywide. I want you to understand that the recommendation that I'm making to the council tonight does not include what we are seeing in the pandemic, where we're averaging under budget about $200,000 per month in sales tax, and that's sales tax alone. I think our forecasts that we're going to be running in the very near future will see those sales tax numbers $400,000 to $500,000 per month under budget with the closure of all of our businesses. So what I am reporting to you tonight is an estimation of budget cuts between now and June the 30th, 2020 in the amount of approximately $1.5 million. If we keep these budget cuts in place that I'm talking about tonight, going into 2020, 2021 budget, they'll amount to about a total of $2 million. That $2 million into 2021, year 2021 fiscal year, will not cover the downfall that we are projecting, that we will be projecting in the near future. We are addressing the information that we currently have. Mayor and council, it is my proposal that we formally implement a hiring freeze effective immediately. We currently have 10 positions open at the city. We will look at critical staffing when it gets into our public utilities and fire and police, and make sure that we maintain the right levels of employment of what we can afford moving forward. I'm proposing that we immediately freeze all clothing allowances. We have already frozen all travel and training for through the end of the year. I propose that we freeze all merit increases going forward, and this proposal is for all employees across the city. The pension credit that is vested, that forfeiture is part of the money that we'll be utilizing to cover the $1.5 million. We currently have an insurance savings over budget of approximately $23 per employee per month. We are under budget in our electric utility, both in MPWA and general fund. We are also under budget in our gas utility, MPWA and general fund. These are higher dollar items. That's why I'm outlining these. We will be delaying or funding through other means our fire capital projects, delaying or funding other capital means our parks capital projects. We will be utilizing the entire city manager's capital contingency account. We have a fuel contingency. One of the things that we're seeing is the price of gasoline is dropping dramatically, and we also had a contingency in case that that fuel cost went up for the year. We have a telephone utility refund because we've gone to a one net system. We are closing Hutchinson Wading Pool. We will be closing the Stipe swimming pool and not opening up. The only one we'll be opening up this year is Jeff Lee. And Mayor, we are also requesting that we implement immediately an incentive buyout program for retirement. People are eligible to retire at the city or willing to retire at the city. And we are proposing a monthly incentive of $595 per month. And the way we came up with that $595 per month is that is the actual cost of health insurance, dental insurance, and our vision insurance. So what we are proposing is if you have 5 to 10 years with the city, your monthly incentive would be $595, and that would be for a duration of 3 months. All the way up to 25 years with the city, same monthly incentive of $595, but that duration would be for 24 months. This is a program that we implemented back in 2009, 2010, and we are very successful with it. We have a number of employees that are eligible for retire, and we are confident some of them will take advantage of this program. I want to remind the council at this time that the city of McAlester has 5 core areas that we are responsible for. Those 5 core areas are police, fire, streets, water, and wastewater. Basically, anything past that are add-ons for the city. And those are all areas that we want to be able to offer to our community and to our citizens. But I think we, at this point going forward, and as we do our projections over the next couple of weeks, we will be focusing almost entirely on police, fire, streets, water, and infrastructure, that public safety side of our community. Mayor, some of the things that we are looking towards in the very near future are for our budget shortfalls are furloughs for our employees. We don't know at what levels. We'll be looking at that. We do know what a day of furloughs saves the city in the form of benefits and pay. We're going to be looking at the safety incentive moving forward. And if we can't reach the levels that we need to reach, we will be looking at layoffs in all areas of the city. Mayor, at this time, that pretty well outlines the budget cuts that we're moving forward with. And these budget cuts are estimated to generate a savings of about $1.5 million through June the 30th of this fiscal year. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. You said a few times they're proposing, but none of that actually requires council action at this point, correct?
It does not, Mayor. It's all within the guidelines of my authority.
Are there any questions or comments from the council?
What about, Mayor?
Speaking
Go ahead.
Mayor, what about
Go ahead.
like union, Mr. Manager? You say you're gonna cut off like the clothing allowance. Does that include unions, or can you do that with union?
Mayor, Councilman, I have the right to run the city in the best interest of the city and within those guidelines. I fully intend to sit down with both unions and have very intimate discussion of our budget shortfalls, and hope that because of the relationship that we currently have, be able to work very closely with them and be able to move through this process very quickly.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Manager.
And this is Councilwoman Harrison. I have a question. City Manager, would you please repeat the 5 areas that we're really concerned about? You said police, fire, and what were
Sure. You have your public safety, which is police and fire, your streets for transportation, and your water and wastewater or sewer.
And this is Councilwoman Harrison again. You had mentioned that there needs to be a budget cut of $1.5 million, and by exercising all the things that you just mentioned, that this would put the city back out of, we're not in arrears, but this would keep it from being in arrears. Is this what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is this will cover the information that we had about 2 weeks ago before the pandemic. What I'm saying now is this $1.5 million that I just outlined,
yes,
probably needs to be somewhere around $2.5 million. We are going back to cut more money out of the budget, and that $2.5 million will probably work into $3.5 to $4 million in next year's fiscal budget. And these are just numbers that we're kind of working in our heads. There's nothing permanent or in place. These are just things that we're seeing within our community right now, and what we are estimating is not going to happen in the future.
Oh, okay. My other question is, I know we're concerned with dollars and cents and things like that, but then now let's get to the people part. The folks that are eligible for buyouts, are they aware that this program is a possibility, or is this something we're just talking about today?
No, I wanted to outline this to the mayor and council in tonight's discussion.
Okay.
And then we will implement this tomorrow morning.
All right. Do you have part-time employees also?
We do have part-time employees.
No. How do they fit into this, what you're talking about? I know the buyouts would be for people that are 5 years and more, but what about part-time people that have worked 5 years or 10 years? Do you have that type of?
We do not have a program for them. They are considered to be temporary employees and are not full-time eligible for benefits with the city.
Oh, okay. What about people's retirement? How does that fit into all this? People that are eligible for retirement, does this fit into that?
They would receive their retirement.
They would receive their retirement without any problems?
That's correct.
All right. Thank you.
Any other?
Oh, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Harrison, one last question, I think. You had mentioned, city manager, about a contingency. Could you tell us what you had in mind on that?
We're going to roll that into the general fund to be used for daily operations.
Did you say general fund?
Yes, or wherever it's necessary. The general fund, the MPWA, whatever area of the city that we need to take care of.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else?
This Councilman Pritchard, city manager, when was the last time, at the last sales tax numbers we have, what period did that cover?
It would have been through, I believe it was December the 15th through December the 16th through January the 15th, and we received that in February.
We have on the slide here, March numbers.
Okay, then it would have been January 16th through February the 15th, and we would have received it in March.
Okay, so the next ones will be February 15th to March 15th.
Correct. And that
when will we get those?
We actually have a estimation today.
Yeah.
But we won't get the final number on that. We get it at the 10th of the following month, which would be April 9th or 10th, somewhere right around in there.
So carrying that forward, we won't get the numbers from March 15th to April 15th until June 10th. Is that right? Did I do that right?
March 15th to April. No, we'll get them in May 10th.
Okay. Because I mean, those are the numbers I'm sure you're concerned about too, but those are going to be the COVID numbers.
And those are the numbers that we're trying to estimate today so that we can end up with a balanced budget on June the 30th.
What's your methodology for doing that?
We're basing it, we're actually going through the 4,000 accounts, sales tax reimbursement accounts within the city, breaking them down into areas, whether it's hotel, motel, restaurants, retail, and we are putting percentage factors on those numbers, everything from best case scenario to worst case scenario. And we're trying to figure something in between, Councilman.
I don't know if the data is even available, but if it is, and you haven't already, maybe you can look to other regions that are a few weeks ahead of us. I don't know if that'd be helpful. I've got a question on your incentive program.
Yes.
So if I understand this correctly, this is a program designed to pay people to retire or leave the employment of the city of McAlester. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And you said that $595 that's what we're currently spending on the benefits for those employees. Is that what you said?
Yes, that covers their health insurance, dental, and also their vision coverage for the city.
So if they agree to this buyout, do their benefits end at the end of their employment, or how does that work?
Their benefits terminate upon retirement or termination with the city. And what they can do is then if they're not eligible for Medicare, they can stay on the city's COBRA benefit plan for up to 18 months.
Okay. And this is my final question. How or have you gotten any feedback about how the stock market is affecting the pension plan?
I do not have any indication, but Councilman, I think we all know that the Dow Jones Industrials prior to the last 2 days was down 30+%, and I think we're tied to those equities, not as heavily, but we are tied. So I will follow up with our advisors tomorrow and get some information, and I will disseminate that to you and the mayor, or to the mayor and the council as soon as I have that information in the next day or two.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
One thing on that, Council Pritchard, is about, I guess probably maybe 6 weeks ago, about a month ago, we took out, we cashed out 6 months worth of pension benefits into cash from when the market was at the top. So we have a little bit of help there, at least for 6 months.
That's good.
This is Councilwoman Harrison. I think I do have another question real quickly. City Manager, would you tell us, does this also impact the essential, well, maybe that's not the correct word, but employees like the police department, fire department, or is this just people that work here in the city? Does this, the incentives and the packages in which you are planning on proposing?
This is available to all employees of the city, union, non-union members, all employees, except for all full-time regular employees.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about police department, fire department, anyone that works for the city. This proposed package pertains to them, correct?
Full-time regular employees.
Full-time regular employees.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Stasiak.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We will do new business. Any matter not has been reasonably obtained prior to the time of posting the agenda in accordance with section 311.9 Title 25 Oklahoma State statutes. Do we have any new business, Mr. Stasiak?
I do not, Mayor.
In that case, we'll move on to your report.
You know, Mayor, I think I've given my report as a financial update, and at this time, I don't have any additional information.
In that case, we'll start with the remarks and inquiries by council. Councilor Smith.
I pass.
Vice Mayor Pritchard. Vice Mayor Stevens.
No, I just want to echo the council sentiments and let the community know that we're here for them. None of these decisions are easy or pleasant right now for any of us. The community, the business owners, the citizens, us as elected officials, the doctors, the nurses right now, they're working to try to help people and save lives. So I want to assure our community we're here for them. If anything should change, I know this council would be more than happy to bring this back up for discussion, but I also want to assure the citizens that we're all in this together and we're going to make it through. And I appreciate all of them and the care, because I know that this community has risen to the challenge many times of things in the past. And I spoke to someone that's been in healthcare, been in this community for 25, 30, 40 years yesterday that put my mind at ease a lot more from basically talking about how great we all are here and how we kind of circle the wagons and always help each other. So I want to assure everybody, if I could do something to help, please reach out, because my utmost concern is people and families right now. And I look forward to this all being behind us.
Thank you. Councilman Ops.
Thank you, Mayor. Basically, I kind of echo the sentiments of the rest of the council, is that this is a time to be proactive, not reactive. And the sooner we get out ahead of this, the better our community will be in the end, I believe. I know it's going to be hard on business owners, and at some point we need to come back as a council and see how we can assist them through grants using the economic funds, stormwater cuts, things like that. But that's for another time.
Councilman Brown.
Yes, sir. Of course, I'm echoing the same thing. I know it. I've seen a lot, and I've never seen anything like this. None of us have. But I think this community will rise and just come together. And I always mention high school kids. I do miss them. Even I want to share that because I'm very passionate about that. But I want to do what's in the best interest and safety of those children as well.
Councilwoman Harrison.
Thank you for an opportunity to say something. I also echo the things that have been said, that we want to make sure that the citizens of McAlester know that we are doing everything we can to just keep us together. This is a time that we don't have to just walk in fear and feel hopeless, but this is a time that we could sit back and be creative and be innovative. And also, sadly, but prevention is still better than cure. I know this has kind of gone under the, because of all the major things, but I would like to thank our court clerk, Mrs. Middleton, for the proclamation for Women's History Month. And also, I would like to ask a quick question. Is there funding here in the city of McAlester for any economic development after this crisis? Or is this the wrong time to ask that?
It's an inquiry, so yes, but I think the answer is it can't be determined at this point.
Okay.
But Stasiak,
I'm sorry, what, Mayor?
Councilwoman Harrison asked the question as if there was going to be economic development money available when this is over, and my response was it's impossible to tell at this point.
It is. We have economic development money available today. It's in a limited amount, but we'll have to see how that needs to be utilized going forward with the city's needs.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to let our citizens know that we're doing everything that we can to help out. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Councilman Pritchard?
Yeah, I think the action the council took tonight to adopt the governor's order was a big step. But I think we need to not stop there. A few ideas that I've been thinking about that I think we should do and potentially bring back to a meeting prior to our next scheduled meeting is I think we should be the leader in creating a sort of intergovernment council of potentially people in Pittsburgh County, potentially governments broader. I mean, this is a situation that defies political boundaries, and we are going to need as much as possible to coordinate a response, coordinate public messaging, to coordinate resources between different communities. So I think the sooner that we could adopt a resolution setting that up, the better. And additionally, I think we should be proactive in spending that economic development money on plans that help distressed businesses in our community, but at the same time are things we can do to target need where necessary to at-risk populations of the outbreak. I would much rather take action right now, spend resources that we have to potentially mitigate some effects in this community, in this region, rather than sit back and wish we had not taken those actions. So I think any ideas this council has, we should voice. I think we should, I don't think we should not take action. This is not a time. This is not a time to sit by. And I'm encouraged by the action we took tonight.
All right, we'll move to mayor's comment, the committee appointments. Just want to say that there were some very, very difficult decisions taken tonight.
Yes.
And the city council and the city administration understand the gravity of these decisions. But what it comes down to is by doing these things, we're literally going to save some lives. And that's the bottom line to me. I hate that we have to do this to our business owners, and I apologize that we do, but to me it's just completely, if it saves a life, it's worth it. And I want to thank the council for having the courage to make these decisions. With that, we will recess the council meeting, and I would take a motion in a second to convene as McAlester Airport Authority. The motion to approval of minutes from the March 2020 Commission of McAlester Airport Authority, confirm taken on City Council Agenda Item B, and to adjourn.
So move, Mayor.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Court, call the roll, please.
Councilman Brown,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, and the motion carries. I would now take a motion to convene as McAlester Public Works Authority. Motion to include approval of minutes from the March 10th, 2020 regular meeting of the McAlester Public Works Authority. Confirm action taken at City Council Item B, and to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Brown,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, and the motion carried. Now take a motion to convene as McAlester Retirement Trust Authority. Motion to include approval of minutes from February 25th, 2020, meeting of the McAlester Retirement Trust Authority. approval of retirement benefits for the period of March 2020 and to adjourn. To adjourn.
I'll make the motion. This is Councilwoman Harrison.
Second.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Harrison,
Yes.
Councilman Cox,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, then the motion carries. Now reconvene. Now, I take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Laura, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Brown,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, so we're adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you feel better.